a lot of stuff that we make is based around Reaktor. But recently, with Reaktor 6, what we introduced was Reaktor blocks. How many people have actually tried messing with blocks before? Or have any idea what these are? All right. I'm about to blow your minds. So basically, Reaktor blocks is the virtual version of rack mounts, of using actual modular gear. Basically, these are some just presets or ensembles that that I've loaded up here. Just load up one more. There we go. Let's play this. It's beautiful, I know. Very spacey. So the idea is, if you want to start getting into the modular world or start understanding it, Reaktor blocks it's a great way to get started. If you were to actually physically have something like this, a hardware version, this could cost you, a couple $1,000s. Whereas opposed to you have your computer, you get Reaktor blocks, you can create as many oscillators as you want, or as many step sequencers. You could build one virtual rack and actually just have essentially a full live performance. You just build this crazy ensemble that has drums, melodies, bass lines, and you can just all control that from a keyboard or just using your mouse. So a lot of these, again, these are pre-built ensembles, but if we go to the edit page, I can flip it around. This is what the other side, the back end, looks like. So before Reaktor 6, if you were trying to design your own synth, this is what you would have to be dealing with. This does not look like music at all. This is very confusing. I really still don't even understand what half this stuff does. So I like to go onto this level because it's a lot easier to understand, even though there's a lot of stuff going on. But the idea is, if I just make something new, let's patch something together quickly. Where is it? So clock goes there. Note in. Cheek. So again, I don't have to buy any of these. I can just create them quickly. And as I'm starting to patch this stuff together, does anyone here actually have any modular hardware? Anything? All right. Well, with this update, if you do have some actual hardware, you'll be able to actually patch in virtual blocks into your hardware. So if you need an LFO to move a filter knob or something, or control a sound, there's blocks built in that allow you to do that, which is pretty cool. All right. So there's that. And then Monarch adds that. So I'll just do this super basic bento amp. So the oscillator generates the sound, and then I'm sending that into the voltage control amplifier, which basically it's just a fancy name for a volume knob. There we go. Even from here, I can start rearranging it, creating a crazy setup. Turn this down. Out. All right. What I did is I sent the gate, basically the signal that tells something to trigger or not trigger. I sent that to the volume here, And I've basically added automation so that whenever a note plays, the volume knob goes up, and then when it stops, it closes down. So every time a note plays on the step sequencer, it just keeps opening and closing. It's beautiful, right? It's the best thing that you've ever heard in your entire lives. So, again, that's just a very basic, way to start patching things together. I could add a filter to it. I could add all sorts of blocks. All I have to do is just find the block I'm looking for, drag it, and drop it. But what's really cool, though, is that all the tools that you would need to make your own blocks from scratch, we have a crazy user library where people are designing their own blocks. So there's about 40 or so blocks that we created that, when you install it, you get these. But literally every day, there's hundreds of people making their own custom blocks that are, extremely unique. So it's an insane library. Like, for example, this guy Richard Devine, he's created this crazy wall of stuff. So again, these are actually made with all the blocks that come with Reaktor. So honestly, I don't know what half of this stuff does, but I could just start turning some knobs and get some interesting sounds out of it. But there's a lot of different patches too. So again, you can make some really unique sounding instruments just patching stuff together. Actually, quick show of hands, how many people have used the machine before? Machine, okay, a couple. So we've actually created a machine block. Where is it here? There we go. So this is basically a virtual representation of machine, just to program beats, but it's all wired up to, they're all connected to these individual blocks that basically generate like a kick drum, snare, clap, hi-hat, cowbell. But a lot of the times I like using these as a starting block. So if I want to build this crazy rack mount, I can start with this and then start adding my other blocks to it that maybe generate more melodic elements like basses, bass lines, pad sounds. So if I just hit play, I can just start programming in a beat. Add some different fills. Gotta add cowbell. And I can start playing with the knobs here. You get the idea. There's a lot of fun things that you can do with it, and you can get some really cool sounds out of it. And Reaktor is just an unbelievably powerful tool. You get a lot of the things like Monarch, Razor, Prism, kind of all of our big synths. They're all designed with Reaktor. It's kind of the core foundation of a lot of the sounds that you hear.